this is the easiest way. This way you can do it at home. And that's why I want to make this so you guys can do this after watching this in your own house. And whenever I do food shows, I try to do that unless it's something, you know.
So when I think of holidays, I think of putting it on asparagus. So what is your?
Salmon, it goes on anything. It goes on anything. And then what I'm gonna show you is that you can take this hollandaise and you can take some crushed jalapeno and add to it. You can take some tarragon, which would make béarnaise, and a little tarragon reduction. We all like béarnaise. Or you can take, like what I did last night, I had scallops with a sauce Chiron, which is a very French sauce, and Cajun at the same, because they're kind of tied into each other. So what the hollandaise does is to make it the Chiron is you would add a little bit of tomato paste to your béarnaise. So you got one sauce, then do the next one, and then you add the tomato paste to it. So you're building. And you can do the same thing with that, with just about anything you're just thinking of, though. Instead of using lemon juice, what we're going to use to make hollandaise, you can make Maltese, which instead of lemon juice, you're going to use orange juice and make a nice sauce. And it's going to have the same consistency, but you can put it on pancakes. Put it on, you know, it's good on seafood as well, you know, chicken. So it's a mother sauce, and we're going to learn how to make the basic today. All right. So what you're going to start, and everybody's got a microwave, is I take 1 pound of butter.
Jeez.
All right. Just a little butter. Okay. So we're gonna put this 1 pound of butter in the microwave for 3 minutes, which is going to separate. All the oil is going to come to the top, and then the milk and the water will go to the bottom. Now, if you're using salted butter, you'll have a little foam on top, which will be the salt. I always use unsalted butter in the restaurant because I just don't want to get things too salty, and it just saves me a step of doing it. So if I'm going to add salt to the dish. Okay, so we have a little salt, and I always use white pepper in the sauce because more for appearance, and it goes through the sauce a lot easier than like crushed red pepper or crushed black pepper. Okay, so what we're going to start out with is the eggs, and you want to separate the eggs, and I separate them. Some people just run through their hands and just go like that, and let the egg yolk or the egg white go through. I tend to do it like this. 1, 2, and you're going to see, and this is my own thing on hollandaise that I've done over the years. Most people, like if you go to a French restaurant and you're getting hollandaise and they make it in the kitchen, they do a double boiler and they whisk it until their arm is ready to fall off. And they use 12 egg yolks, a lot of egg yolks. Mine's more buttery and lemony, and it works well with seafood. So this is my thing, and you can, you'll like it a lot better too. But if it ever breaks on you, which sometimes happens, you don't throw it away. Just take it, put it back in the microwave, because usually what makes it break is the butter's not hot enough. So what you want to do, the double boiler thing cooks the eggs, okay? So what we're gonna do it a little different. We're gonna cook the eggs a little differently. These are the coolest little things, and they sell these at Kroger's. I drink lemon water in the morning. It's one of the best things for you. It's really great for your liver if you do a lot of drinking, and I have done a lot of drinking in my day. So I try to do this every morning, then wait, and that's the first thing you do. And this little thing, I can do like 3 or 4 lemons, and I can just put that right back in the refrigerator. It takes the seeds out, and It gives you measurements, and that's $2. I thought it was a really great deal. So I take a little juice of 1 lemon. I've already did one because that would save time, even though we got tons of time. And all right, we have the juice. Now, I'm probably not going to use all this juice, but so you can see probably the juice of about a half a lemon. I got the juice of a whole lemon, but as you can see, it's about, it's right. Oh, yeah. Okay, so then.
Your recipe says 3 yolks, but you only put 2 in there, right?
No, I got 3.
Oh, okay, yeah, perfect.
Does anybody need a pen?
Okay.
Do we get printed recipes, Todd?
Pardon me?
Do we get printed recipes?
You got printed, you see the
Oh.
ingredients. I figured this when I show you, I wouldn't have to go through the whole thing.
But you only like me, yeah.
I'm only a phone call away. Everybody's got Rodney's number. I think it's 868 Rod's. Okay, so white pepper, a little pinch.
White.
And this is, don't get it like it's got to be like a cake recipe. Cake recipes, that's probably why I'm not really great at
Me
cooking
either.
cakes, but I can do it, but it's just a lot of concentration. These, what I'm showing you is, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna put a little white pepper. And, okay. So then we're going to, because we're making enough hollandaise probably for, this is how much hollandaise I use in an evening at Rodney's. Sometimes I make more.
So we don't want to have that probably for.
Well, I would just go ahead and do it, because if you try to break it down to a small thing, it's not gonna turn out. So, you know, make sure, you'll use it, believe me, it's delicious. Okay, so I use sea salt. I use probably one of the best, it's not just regular sea salt. This is Florida salt, which is a place where they scoop it off the ocean and dry it. So this salt, when I get it in a big bag, I have to lay it out and let it dry, and then I have to break it up and let it dry. So, really good salt. Salt is not a spice. Salt is a food enhancer. So people that don't use salt, I don't know why. I mean, I can see it if you have, you know, your salt intake is not good, you want to try back off it. It's not great for you, but, and Himalayan salt is actually good for your blood pressure. It actually helps your blood pressure a little bit. But I use really good salt. I use the best salt that you can possibly buy. And that's why I use it at the restaurant. In most restaurants, you're going to get the little girl with the umbrella. So, there we go.
Where do you get your Florida salt?
I order from a gentleman in Cincinnati who sends a truck once a week to New York and gets from different purveyors up there.
I like to see my salt.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so we got the lemon juice, we got the white pepper, and we got the salt. This is up to you all too. 1, 2, 3. All right. Same thing. 2, 3. All right. Oh, we got everything rolling here. We got the lemon juice, we got the salt, we got the white pepper, we got the Tabasco, and we got the oyster sauce. We're all ready to go. All right, if you want, you can take a look at this. This butter, this egg yolk is a dark yellow. What's going to happen before I add this butter is I want to wait for that to turn a pale yellow. Overflow a little bit, that's okay. Not funny, not that way. Pardon me?
I love that food process. It's so quiet.
Oh, yes.
Mine, you have to shout.
You notice the color changing?
Oh, the process, it's new. It's his first day on the job.
Oh, wow.
This is the same,
Yes.
this is the same one I Mine's a little different control, but it's a Cuisinart, and it's the same one I've used in the restaurant the whole time I've had the restaurant. I've never had one last. I spent $1,500 on a restaurant, ones that called RoboCube. They're this big, they're industrial, they break constantly. You want to get a really good one and you want it to last. I think it's a couple $100, something like that, maybe $160. This is what you want to get, and you'll never have to buy another one. So,
Is it
okay,
available professional?
I have a restaurant. I have a restaurant, and I've literally used it the whole time I've been in Rodney. It's the same one. I've had to replace this.
It's not a series, a professional series.
I don't think so. I think it's just regular, just a regular one. I wouldn't say
So it's a 14-cup Cuisinart that I have here.
Yeah. All right, you notice the color changing? Okay. These also have what they're called, I call them training wheels. This has a little bitty tiny hole in the bottom of it. So when you pour the butter in there, you don't go crazy. Now I make hollandaise every single day, sometimes in the middle of a rush. So I'm like, I don't have time, and I pour it in there at that rate. But once it already has that, once you get the drizzling going, and then the sauce, you use your ears too. You don't hear a whole lot right now. But when I put this butter to it, you're going to get a paddle sound. If you get a splashing sound, you broke it. That means it's turned back into water and it's too thin. So we're going to give it a shot. Because this could break on it. That's what I see. It's really hard. So here we go. Now we can hear this.
So it is a different sound.
Here we go. With the paddling. Now, if we hear splashing, we're in trouble. And you've got to start over. But you don't throw it away. You just heat it back up. And the same thing. And then you add a couple of eggs, some more lemon juice. And just add this mixture that broke, add it to it the same way I'm doing this. Okay, you'll notice the back down here at the bottom. You'll notice this is really, really super duper thick. That's too thick for what I'm using. Now, if I had it for something else, I want to bake it, like with a salamander, you get crust on, I would want a thick custard batter. But a lot of people, they add more water to it. I use this milk fat to thin this down to the right consistency. Check it out, a little bit thick. Perfect. Perfect is a good word too. Okay.
Moving, look.
Yeah,
You see this consistency?
Wow.
yeah.
It's not moving.
All right. Now,
So how much butter did you end up putting in?
the whole thing.
The whole pound?
I put a pound of butter in there. I microwaved it, and then I used a little bit of the milk to get it the right consistency that I would like. You don't have to add that. You can have it really thick.
Mhm.
But you could have poured it all in there, it would just been really thin, right?
It would have been really thin. It probably would have broke if you added all.
Oh, okay.
So you just want to check it like I did. Pour it in there. You get the right consistency. There you go.
And when you say break, you mean like it's separated?
Oh no, separate. It'd be like water. It'd be like just like a glass of water. That consistency of water. So what I do, since this has already had butter in it, so it's almost like when you spray a pan with pan spray.
Oh, yeah.
So I take that hollandaise. Now, just remember, you can add different ingredients to this right here.
You're gonna make it in there. and not look like that.
It will. You follow this instructions and you will,
Typical store. I gotta go slow to practice.
but just remember, you don't have to throw it away. Remember what I told you. If it breaks in here, you put it back in this container, you add 2 more egg yolks, a little more lemon juice, you don't need to add anything else. 2 more egg yolks, let it build to that color, let the color change. Don't get it. That's what people do. They tend to, and I've done it myself, is don't wait long enough for those egg yolks to cook. All right, so then you have your little squeeze bottle, which is what I do every night. You see how it pours out of there since I used a butter thing. All right. And there we go. Okay, so now that you have this, I have the luxury of a heat lamp at my restaurant. You don't want to stick it underneath the heat lamp, and you don't want it too far away, because what's going to happen to this, if this chills, gets too cold, it's going to be a block of butter again. It goes all the way back to where it is. So you have to keep it at a certain temperature for it to stay in this thing. So what I do sometimes is just take a little warm water. This Jane has the luxury of having boiling water come out of her sink instantly, which is a real time saver when you're doing food shows.
Yeah.
Ooh, I need that.
It couldn't melt your cup.
You can get it added to your second.
How does it go back? Oh, you got to push down. That's right.
It has to do that underneath. So that you can hear it sometimes.
So you don't want it too hot, because then it'll break it. It'll melt the butter. It'll separate it from the eggs. So the whole thing with hollandaise is when the butter hits the egg and lemon juice, the cooked eggs, it stretches them. And what happens when they break it, they're like little rubber bands in there. And what happens is once they break, then it turns back into, you want it about the same,
Yes, that's what I was saying.
same, now this is still a little warm.
I've never been able to make good hollandaise.
You will now?
No, I don't know.
Y'all didn't have any problem with that. Did you really have any problem with that? I didn't go too fast, did I?
No.
I have a tendency to do that. I want you to be able to do this. And like I am dead serious, if you do have a question, you can call me, just not Saturday night between 7 and 8.
And really understand what that right consistency is before you add the next, like gravy, you gotta know when to add the milk. And you just practice.
You just keep adding it, and then when you look at it, if it's visually good for you, it's visually good for your guests.
But I also like that you have to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a chef, it's not just taste. You gotta listen, and you gotta look, and you gotta smell. I tend to do most of my cooking when I'm doing recipes, try to figure out what, something new or something, that we're doing. I tend to use my nose a lot. I can smell anything. I can really, really.
Can I lick the bowl?
I gotta use the bowl on the shrimp remoulade.
Probably be opposed to approve with. So I'm curious, what is this thing on the counter that's next to the range?
That's a wok.
Oh.
You have to do more daily.
I did a little mid-century touches.
He
Kind of more of my price
did say
range.
that.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, one thing, there was one thing that he said. So you said there are 5 sauces.
Yes.
So there's a hollandaise and a remoulade and.
No, remoulade is part of the, remoulade is not a sauce. Remoulade is just is like a,
Dip.
it's just like for salads, shrimp.
Yeah.
What's a big five sauce?
What would be the 5 sauces? That's a good question. You have the hollandaise. You have demi-glace.
I put a 4-year and then I.
Demi-glace is where you take bones and water and boil it for about, I don't know, at a really low temperature for probably 3 days. I do it
3
in the restaurant.
days?
Yeah, in the restaurant. That's why a lot of people just buy it.
Oh, wow.
And then you strain that, and then you let it sit, and then all the fat goes to the top, gets hard, and you cook all that, and then this little jello type stuff you have about. And then you add that with a little flour, and then you have your dark beef gravy type sauce, okay? And then you have your Bleubird, which is like your chicken broth, your beef bouillon, okay? And then you have your bechamel. Don't ask me how to spell that either, it's French. So, bechamel is like when you make your biscuits and gravy at home. We make gravy. You just take a little bit of your, I use the sausage gravy, the sausage grease, add flour to it, make your roux. And then you add the milk to it, and that would be your bechamel. But you could just do butter and add flour to it, and then you have a white sauce, and then you can add, again, a million things to it. Okay? So you have, what have I given you so far? 4 of them?
Hollandaise, demi-glace, velouté,
Bleubird, you got it?
and bechamel.
Bechamel. So what do you think the last one is? What would you guess by looking at your list?
French,
French sauce?
it's a French word.
No, it's not. But, no. I'm gonna give, no one has any idea what the 5th one is. Tomato.
I was thinking red.
That's why I did that, because I knew you were like, I knew that.
I was thinking red, something red.
It's all right. I'm just, you know. Tomato, we all know tomato. You can make a lot of stuff with some tomato sauce.
I have a friend who's allergic to tomatoes, and I feel so sorry for her. She can't eat tomatoes, bell peppers, potatoes, anything in the nightshade family.
That's impressive.
Talking about making the demi-glaze and let it blow over for 5 days.
She's thin.
Okay.
Right there?
It takes a long time.
I usually can make it, I make it at 4:45. Restaurant opens at 5 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
It'll last, in that temperature, you'll have to change that water because you don't have a heat lamp. So I have a heat lamp and I set it at a certain spot and everybody knows where that spot is. 5, 6 hours. It's cooked.
Yeah.
You're thinking raw eggs. It's not raw eggs.
Right.
The lemon juice with the spinning, cook the eggs. Not that I'm afraid of raw eggs anyway. I like raw eggs. So. But anyway, raw eggs and sugar is like my friend. Okay.
If you don't use all of the sauce and you want to keep it.
That's why my restaurant's expensive. I throw that away.
Okay.
Because people don't understand. There's a lot of things that I make
Yeah.
that I gotta have. I'll make holidays and I don't even get used to it. I spent $4 with the butter, my time, or someone else I'm paying. So I spend $10 on that sauce every day, just right off the bat, right off the top. So, yeah, you gotta make it every day. It doesn't last the next day. It doesn't last in my restaurant. People do it. People at restaurants will do it, and it changes the flavor. It picks up. It's like if you ever leave butter on a plate in your refrigerator, and then you use it like a couple of days later, it don't taste right. It's like a filter, and it sucks in all the different flavors of your refrigerator, and it's just awful. So
Did you do anything to salvage it into something else?
it would be scrambled eggs and oily scrambled eggs. So it's an expensive sauce, and I've had our go-arounds about why I have to make this every day. Well, I say it's a mother sauce. We're a nice restaurant, and not just Rodney's, but when I've had partners and they said, why do you have to make such an expensive sauce every day? I said, well, because if someone comes in and I want to do something special or something different, and I've always had the seahorses. We all know what the seahorses are. So you gotta have that for them. If I only sell one order, then I'm out. I'm in the hole for the hollandaise sauce, but I gotta have it. So it just. You never had the seahorses at my restaurant?
Order seat last night.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
turned scallops.
Seahorses.
Bacon scallops.
I take diver scallops, which are fresh scallops, and then I wrap prosciutto around them, and I pan sear them around and around. Probably a little bit of oil, about that much. Pan sear and get all the prosciutto crispy and the crispy around the whole thing. And I put it over crispy spinach, which I fry and deep fry for about 2 seconds, and crisp it. And it looks like porcelain. And you put them on the crispy spinach and then top them with the hollandaise. They've been with me for years. I could not get
Scallops are so wonderful, I just can't imagine.
I got the best scallops that I've ever gotten in my entire life right now. I got a guy that's from Boston or Maine, a big, huge company, huge. And they're the best ones that I've ever gotten, and I've gotten some really good ones. And there's still good ones out there, but these are the best. He has his name, signature, and his phone number underneath it. I literally called this guy just to save my teeth. I can answer. He didn't answer, but within 10 minutes he called me back. He was in the airport getting ready to take his family on a vacation, and he called me back.
Wow.
And I was just like totally amazed. And I showed him he's never been to Kentucky, and I told him, well, you need to go because I use your scallops here, and they're the best. I want to just tell you, these are the best scallops. You don't need to cook them. You can slice them and have them with a little soy sauce, sashimi, and they're just like little balls of sugar. You got it.
Yeah, I would think.
Wait till Wednesday.
Because I would think that prosciutto would take away the taste of those scallops, and I don't want to taste the scallops.
It all works together. Some people get it with just without the prosciutto. Okay, what we're going to do now is a shrimp remoulade. This is shrimp that
This is what started the entire reason we're having this.
Oh,
This is everyone, it's delicious.
All right. So what we have is some shrimp that I cooked up earlier today, and you're just going to add these. I need a little bowl. I thought I had. Get a little bowl here. Yes, perfect. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take some shrimp. I said about a pound of shrimp. I think I got in the recipe, but it doesn't have to be. And when I do shrimp, I put a little Cajun seasoning in there. And I put a little Cape Cod seasoning, which is a seasoning that I'm going to give you a little sample of to take home with you to use because, and I use it in the crab cake recipe, which is, I have people from Boston and Maine that come down and have my crab cakes and say they're just as good as what they have up there. And there's a reason for it, because most people use Old Bay seasoning, and that's what's been around. Well, Old Bay seasoning is inexpensive, and it doesn't have the really good ingredients that Cape Cod seasoning, where the Old Bay would be for a container probably like $4. That same container of Cape Cod would be more like $15. But there's a reason. It's night and day what it does, how it enhances the celery's better, the whole thing. about it. It's just.
Is that a brand? KY
Yes, yes.
brand?
Yes, I'll show you. I've got ahead of myself a little bit with that, but I'm gonna give you some because I use it a lot, and I make a lot of crab cakes, and I use it. If you've ever had my seafood chatters, there's a reason that they're there. They taste the way they do. That is the stuff they use up there. They don't use Old Bay. They might tell you they use Old Bay, but I guarantee the really nice places, they get the really ones that you really like. They're using that. Okay, we got the shrimp that we already cooked off with a little bit of Cape Cod, some black peppercorns, a little bay leaf. I used some lemon that I was using in my hollandaise. I throw that in there. I get all those spices in there and I let it boil. I got the shrimp already ready. Once it's boiled and it's got the spices opened up and everything, and I put it in there. That's what you smelled when you first came in. So we want about a pound of
Those are
shrimp.
beautiful too.
Yeah, these are nice shrimp. These shrimp are the same shrimp I use at the restaurant, and these are there's no chemicals in these shrimp. They're called non-gitmo shrimp. No chemicals at all in the process, and it's night and day. Most shrimp. I mean, we didn't get this when I was a young chef. You'd have to buy fresh shrimp, have them on ice, brought up to get what we're getting here. And these are just, you'll know the texture, you'll know the whole thing, you know, it's just delicious.
Are they farm raised?
No, I think that they're, well, I've only had these for like 3 months, well, before the Corona. And he was telling me, I'm not sure if they are farm raised. They just told me that they're chemical free, so that must be they got them in some kind of waters that they're not getting.
So if they
They're
are,
not feeding them.
yeah, if they are farm raised, it's like.
I would think that they would be that have in hormones and stuff like that. Okay, so right here, a pound of shrimp, which I'm probably going to add a little more shrimp to this since we have 12 people and I want to give you all something to eat. All right, and you don't want to go crazy with this. You want to have a little texture with it. All right. The luxury of a brand new food processor with blades that will really see how it does that, or do you finger the same way? So you don't want to get it in there.
So Rodney, if someone was gonna cook you a special dinner, what was your favorite meal, what would that be?
My favorite meal, I really like lobster thermidor. And I really like my flourless chocolate cake with Chambord.
Another cooking show.
Yeah, lobster thermidor is one of my favorites. Considering no one does it really, you can't find it anywhere, so that might be part of the reason. So we have our shrimp, the remoulade. Just out of your way, so you can see. I'm done.
So where did you cook at before you came to Rodney's?
I opened up 8 restaurants in Lexington. I was also the executive chef at the Hillary Boone Faculty Center for UK. That's where I met Teddy Smith and Donna and a lot of the UK players, because I was lucky that the time I was there, they were redoing the Wildcat Lodge. So I had to feed the whole basketball team. So I got to meet Jamal, Prince, all those guys. I've had them every night. So yeah, it was a really neat thing. Then I opened up an Irish place for a crazy guy, John Linus, doing Linus Hamburger place. I didn't have this place, and it was an open kitchen, and that's where I came up with the lamb that we have at the restaurant today. And I cooked at a place called La Scala on Southland Drive that was an Italian restaurant for a man called Carl Berger, and he was an engineer that invented something to light huge furnaces to melt steel. And he had a way to get that furnace blazing hot within 30 minutes instead of like 5 hours or whatever it took. So he had a ton of money. He retired. He always wanted to have a restaurant, so we had that. And I went from there to La Scala. I also worked at a place called Cosmos, which was my favorite place to work. As far as, it was really, I had access to anything I wanted. The only problem was that everything, all the walk-ins and everything were a flight and a half downstairs. So really got to work out and probably messed up my legs a lot by that. But the kitchen was upstairs. And for one time in my life, I wasn't stuck back, because most kitchens, they're in the down, in the corner, in the back, no windows, all you have were fluorescent lights all day long. And this place was on the corner of Ashland and Euclid, or High Street. And it had huge windows, all just like this, all windows. And I had to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I would be able to sit there, first time in my life, to have my kitchen right here and cook as the sun is coming up, and then the people walking their dogs and the joggers and just to get to see, like, have the town kind of wake up. John's Run Shop was over there, and it was just a really, and then we had all the unbelievable cheeses and salamis, all imported stuff, and it was just, yeah, it was really an incredible place to work. And went from there to the UK Faculty Club. And then I opened up 2 Rossies, and a small one and then a larger one. But I really started out as a kid to get me into this whole thing. There's a guy named Stanley Demas, and he had a 3-star Michelin restaurant. And I did salads there and an appetizer cart. And that wasn't I that came up with appetizers. He had it all there. And went from there to the Lexington Club downtown, which is the oldest men's club west of the Alleghenies. And I worked there for 3, maybe 4 years and learned everything. I didn't go to school. I didn't have to worry about, at the Lexington Club, about food costs or labor costs or anything. They just, and they wanted this before the internet. Every 4 months you had to change your menu to a different motif, different part of the world. Well, you know, I was 24 years old. I've never been anywhere. But they had the library right downtown, so I would go to the library, get the thing. You have to do all your entrees. Everything had to match to that same region. You have to do 4 appetizers, and every 4 months you had to change it. I stayed there for 4 years. And I learned how to coordinate sit-down dinner for 20 people with regular business and a cocktail party, and have it all go off by yourself.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what I learned. So when kids come out of school and they say, "Well, I'm a chef," no, you're not a chef. You got a chef license, but you got another 10 years, because what I know is not theory. What I know is what I know. Now they see me these things, it's like, well, that's not what they taught me in school. Well, it is what it is.
Right.
Okay, so back to the shrimp remoulade. Here we go. We got the shrimp remoulade. Now you don't have to do the food processor. You can chop this by hand, put big chunks in it, give you a different texture. All right, I have to check my sheet too. All right, so we have, we're gonna do, this is probably the juice of 1 lemon. We're gonna have lemon juice. These are another thing that I have found at Kroger's that are probably the neatest thing, one of the neatest things, if you have heartburn trouble or you don't really like hot things. But you know, jalapeno has its own flavor, and it's really hard to get it because it burns really, it's hot. But if you take the seeds out, you can really bring the temperature down and make sure that you wash your hands really well afterwards, because if you rub your eye or your lips, it'll burn it. So they make these, and this company is awesome. They got relishes and things like that. But these are tamed jalapenos. They're not hot, but you have all that good flavor. So
What's the name of that, Marzetti?
yeah, one of my favorite companies. Anything you get from these people, you're gonna love it. So So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a 1/4 cup of these. I'm gonna chop this stuff. And after this, because Amarillo's gonna be doubling this on this jalapeno. All right. There's your jalapenos. This out here, 1 and 2. All right, everybody see? All right, everybody got a good visual here? All right. No rhyme or reason, just chop it up quickly.
Brand of chef's knife do you recommend? It doesn't cost a lot.
Mine are really expensive. They're Shun. You can get the Shun, S-H-U-N, yeah. And this one they don't make anymore, so I'm really, really careful with this one. This one was made with Williams Sonoma. They had it made by Shun. And what it is, it's got really hard metal up here and softer metal here, so you can sharpen it a lot quicker. And I can keep it sharp, because I sharpen my knives every day. I spend probably 20 minutes a day doing it. I got 6 or 7 knives, and I got it. Yeah, I wear them out. So this is my favorite knife. The handle's nice. It's just, you know. But Shun is what I use. And there's knives that you really don't have to spend that kind of money for. Okay. We got the jalapeno. The green onion. Here's another thing that you can do that they just recently started making, and I use this at home a lot, and I keep it at the restaurant too when I'm in a big hurry. If I'm making something on the fly for somebody that they come in once a year, and I always do this dish for them, and they say, "Can I do it?" This is jalapeno, already done up in a paste, and it's fresh.
I've seen like basil and stuff.
They have all of it.
Ginger.
The garlic and the ginger is the one that I use the most, because ginger is a real pain to get clean and chop and get it the way, the fineness that you want. But this jalapeno and the ginger and the garlic, I keep at home at all times, because I have like 2 tubes of all of it, because I like Indian food, and and it's good. It doesn't, like, even the stuff you buy chopped in the oil, after a couple of months, it starts turning dark yellow, and it's not it. These, keep it the air doesn't get to it. Your garlic and your ginger and your jalapeno all stay fresh for months in your refrigerator you've got it ready to go. Freshness is where it's at with those things as well. So, there we go. What are we doing next? Green onions.
That's not tangy.
No, that's a little, that's not crazy spicy, but it's gonna be spicy.
What's that brand, Ron?
Gourmet garden.
Yeah, Gourmet Garden.
You carried it, Walmart and Kroger.
Over by the, in the produce. where I seen it.
Walmart's got it too.
That's kind of sad.
I seem to have lost my green onion somewhere.
Oh,
Wrapped in,
It's in the French, you put it in the French. It was in the French.
What did you look for?
It was French.
Are you looking for green onions?
Yeah.
Try to take it.
Green, that's cilantro.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Cover it up.
Yeah. It's not gonna get no
I
better.
love green onions. You can put it on everything.
Yeah, I keep green onions all the time. Did you notice I wrap them in paper towel? When I get them home, damp them dry, wrap it in paper towel, little cellophane, it really helps keep them last a little bit longer.
Paper towel and cellophane?
Mhm. And the paper towel really helps keep, draws some moisture off them, helps them last just a couple extra more days. Herbs the same way. Herbs, fresh herbs you can get, just wrap them in a little paper towel, keep it down in your drawer so the temperature doesn't fluctuate. Really helps out. Okay, so we're gonna do a little green onion. You line them up, till they clean, boom, take that off. Trash can, I probably don't need all these. Also at the restaurant, this is kind of a neat little thing. I'll take my onion like this, because I usually use just this part a lot for garnish. But if you want, you can take these and what we call kind of like a quarter cut, and you'll have this. And if you put it in water, these will kind of curly cue, and they make incredible, nice little inexpensive garnish. And if anyone knows me, my food, the eyes eat first. It has to look good before you bite into it. Okay, so we're gonna dice up a little onion here. Use 2 different kinds of onions.
What do you do this? Oh, you haven't got to the second one. I thought he was naming 2 different kinds of green onions.
We're gonna add our green onions. Bermuda onion, red onion, purple onion. This might help you out a little bit. Cut the ends off. Cut it in half.
You know, Bill Dunn, probably taking 100 of his cooking classes. He peels an onion different.
Yeah, everyone's got their own ways.
You threw away a lot of onions.
I can smell it, yeah. That's what I thought
Let's get your onion.
Any clues of what can you do so your eyes don't water so much?
It's in your mouth.
So my eyes don't water so much.
Some people put a little vinegar down on the cutting board on the outside of it. Help. If you have a fan that blows behind you, it'll blow that way.
You say wooden toothpicks and blow before it gets to your eyes.
You know what? I've never seen that. It doesn't mean it doesn't work.
Good life skills.
All right, we got our onion, both kinds. All right. Cilantro. When I go to Kroger, I don't know what's going on with the cilantro. I don't know if any of y'all have noticed.
It's in the second trunk.
I don't know if you guys have ever noticed lately. And I'm probably gonna have to switch up at the restaurant too with my house salad. The lettuce greens, the light ones, the delicate ones are, I don't know, we can't get them. And I don't know what's up with the cilantro, but this, I always buy the organic. It's 50 cents more, I think, a bunch, but it's night and day. Cilantro, my favorite, and everything. I chop this up at home and add, diced red onions, and I put it in a little thing like this, and I keep it in the refrigerator almost all the time. So when I have tacos, or when I want to have some hot dogs with chili, or I want to have some nachos, or I want to have a hamburger kind of Mexican style, or some rice. And this will last, once you chop all that up, a good week without wilting. I do it for Frankie, my mother-in-law, and send her over a little thing she loves. She eats it.
Cilantro, jalapeno, and lemon juice,
No lemon juice, just these three.
or onions.
Yeah.
So what keeps it from wilting? Because always something on cilantro turn like dark.
If you put it in one of those plastic things, put a lid on it, it's gonna be fine. And you don't wanna go crazy with chopping it either. That'll bruise it as well. So we have the cilantro. So you can get more control of it. Yes. Okay, we got our cilantro. What's next? Well, little white pepper again for seasoning. Little salt, don't go crazy. You can also adjust this. And help me with lemon juice. Pepper. Okay. Did I bring those tubes out, or did I still have them in the refrigerator? Oh, here we go. Here's the garlic, and you'll notice the color of this. It's really white. That means it's fresh. Garlic is it absorbs sunlight, so it gets dark and yellowy, and it's awful. And you don't want to use it when it gets that way. These tubes, I'm telling you, it's a lifesaver. When you need garlic, you always have to buy a jar. By the time, next time you use it, it's already bad. So these are a real lifesaver. Fresh garlic. Comes in. We're gonna put a little fresh garlic.
I have jars of chopped garlic because I'm too lazy to peel it and chop it up.
This will
That's
and it won't look nice and white like that.
Oh.
I cut two of them at all times. And the ginger, and I think they have a shallot too, so if you're doing a little chicken dishes. So we have the all the ingredients except, and you can do this a couple of different ways. This one is a Cajun shrimp remoulade. So we're gonna use blackening seasoning. When you buy blackening seasoning, most of it is really super duper hot or incredibly salty. I take this and dilute it slightly with paprika, and I use smoked paprika for what I use at the restaurant. But since you can't get this stuff is just really, if I was making blackening seasoning, this is how I would make it. I'm lucky enough that I can able to buy this from a local Louisville company that I can order from every day. But they make it themselves. As you can see, it's creation garlic brand. I've seen them do it. If I was doing it, it would be the same way, which I'm lucky enough to do that. But if you have to buy one, taste it, see where you're at, and just add a little bit of paprika to it, which will mellow that out. And then you can also add a little oregano and basil to it, which will give you that herb thing. Let it open up a little bit and help dilute that saltiness or the spiciness. Okay? All right. So we're going to put in a little blackening seasoning. As you can see, this stuff is a lot. It's not like what you're going to buy where it's all real salty. And the reason is they pack them with salt. Salt's the cheapest thing. So you can also tell by reading your ingredients on the back of your label, whatever's first is what they have to put in. It's going to be the most thing that they put in. So if they have garlic at the beginning, then you're probably doing pretty good. But if they have salt, you might want to rethink it. Okay. All right, last but least, mayonnaise. They finally make good mayonnaise that everybody can buy now. So well, this is what this is. But even Hillman's is doing olive oil based, avocado based. So you can get good olive oils. I mean, good mayonnaise now. But I use, thank you, because it's the best mayonnaise by far. Oh, dude. I don't know if they sell that at Kroger's, do they? Do they? But it's by far the best mayonnaise. It holds up. It holds up. It's good on sandwiches. It's incredible. So this is kind of a feely, touchy thing because you don't want to. You don't want to get it too soupy, you know, too mayonnaisey. But isn't that wonderful? You don't even have to add the mayonnaise. You know, this would be a nice thing just to sprinkle on a salad or over top of fish and pop it in your oven for like 5 minutes. You don't have to look at things just as what they're meant for. And that's what's made, that's how I create stuff in the kitchen. Sometimes it's like, you know, my chocolate fell into the peanut butter and what they come up with.
Yeah.
So you just try stuff. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And this here, as you can tell, that's beautiful.
That is.
You could just put a little olive oil in there and have, you know, a nice bruschetta, shrimp bruschetta, and put it on a piece of bread and just let it go.
It's a good way to stretch shrimp too.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to just have shrimp. You could have a couple of pieces of whitefish, some orange roughy, flake it, put that in there. Have I got some crab, I could put some crab in here. You don't have to stick with what it is. Mess around with it. You got the basics right now. You got the basics. You got the basics on the hollandaise. You got the basics on a remoulade. All right, so we're going to stir this up. And then we're going to add a little of the dukes. You don't want to go crazy because you can always add more later. So you just check it out. Are y'all getting aromatics here? I think it's there. I think it's looking good. All right. Cajun shrimp remoulade. Now, you could try this a little bit and see what's up. So that's what we're going to do next. And I have these. Where'd they go? Jane bought us these really cool things to do this in. And you could do these up. Let's say you're having a party at your house. You already have this made up. You can already buy these little,
I need to have it.
okay. Get it out here so we can all see what's going on.
Jane's just classy, isn't she?
She's first class. She only had first class. There's no second class or something.
No, there's no second class.
No, not ever, ever. So we got that here.
So is it hard for you in your restaurant when you have someone that's helping you in the kitchen, like a chef who doesn't do things your way?
I got one right now that I've just hired. If I got
Yeah.
back, so I'm trying to pull away from it a little bit. It drives me insane, but I have to just bite and it drives the kitchen insane too because they're saying, Chef, he's not doing it right. I said, he's not going to do it like I do, guys. As long as he ends up with the same way.
That usually does it.
Well, yeah, he's a chef, but it and I don't want to tip on one, but there's only one.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a reason I have the restaurant. I've been there for, you know, as long as I haven't. I've never even really looked for it. I've always been hired from one job to the next. All these restaurants that I've even after the UK Faculty Club, they came for me and had me go in there and cook. The only job I really looked for was the one at the Lexington Club, and that's where I first started out, and that's where I first became, where the chef trained me and then left. And they said, well, you can do this, Katie. And I said, and I went to my father.
When
and
was that?
long time ago, maybe I was 20, I'm 62 now, so, I've been cooking.
Was your dad a chef as well?
Not the dad you're thinking of. That's my stepfather, but I've known him since I was 3.
Oh, okay.
But my real father, my birth father, told me at the time I was talking to him over the phone what was going on. And he says, you can sink or you can swim. Well,
It's okay.
I haven't sunk yet. And here we are. And that's just what it is. I mean, I wasn't a chef when they made me a chef at the Lexington Club. I knew how to, he trained me how to do the 5 mother sauces. He trained me how to coordinate the dinners, get them all up. But I wasn't a chef. And I learned to be a chef there. And then once I left, I opened up restaurants. People got me to open up restaurants.
It's
Okay.
hard work, believe me.
It's really hard work.
Terrible hours, yeah,
Well, I missed out on a lot of things in my life.
yeah.
A lot of family things. But I think, it made up to me by later in my life, I met my wife and she walked into the restaurant and she's changed my life. We've traveled the world together. So those things happen. There was a reason I had to do this and we do. She was her idea to do this restaurant. I didn't want to do it.
So does she cook for you?
Bleubird has not boiled water. She's cooked me 2 meals. One was spaghetti and marinara sauce, and she overcooked the spaghetti. It was mush. Because she tried to time it. I said, honey, you cook the pasta and you chill it, and then you heat it back up to the sauce. But she didn't know that. So the sauce wasn't ready, and she let the noodles sit there and just cook. And the other one was roast beef. And it better not ever come back to her. Because that was as dry as a cracker. But I was eating and this is delicious. But there's no reason for her to cook. She didn't know the grocery store. I do all that. So. And I enjoy that part. So. Okay, so you're finally gonna get something to try out here. You want to help me with this one?
Except for your friends are probably intimidated to have you over for a party or to feed you.
We've had him over and I'm a terrible cook.
Yeah,
And
but
he said, if I don't have to cook it, I love it.
That's exactly.
and we had some kind of lamb dish,
Yeah,
lamb stew. And
Oh,
that gentleman back there makes some unbelievable,
Yeah,
what is it? It's not a biscuit.
yeah.
Rolls, yeah. It's a yeast roll that will blow your mind. They're not just regular ones. They're something he does.
Yeah, I'll bring them over to the restaurant.
And we pass them out.
All the people in the restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm not going to share these.
Well, if they didn't see you give them to me, I wouldn't have shared them with them.
Well, I brought 2 cans, that's why.
They still wouldn't have.
So when you make that, how would you normally serve that? If it was on a menu, how would it be served? Just like that?
I put it on salad. Sometimes I'll have a mold, like a ring mold, and I'll take some hydrobib and lay out some leaves. And I put that in the mold, and I put some tomatoes around it, or some mushrooms, or some julienne carrots, or some julienne zucchini. Make a little nest. Or you can take a long tongue and fry it, and just whatever comes to your head, just try it. It might work, it might not. You can go ahead and stick those right in there.
It would really be a quick and easy dinner. Wouldn't
Oh, yeah, and you can do it up, if you're having like Christmas, have it ready before they all got here, and this would be fine. This will actually be even probably better tomorrow, just like chili or anything else.
you? So how many days would it last?
Instead of running out of wash and everything, I'm getting this look of it.
How many days would it last in the fridge?
Oh, probably
2?
3 or 4 days. Be fine. Stick it in the back. Kind of let it fluctuate. I'm not ready yet. Because I'm gonna try to get it, and then I can put some more in each one. I just want to make sure I got enough for each one.
It is kind of cute.
Oh, this would be great for a cocktail party. And you could just leave them on that tray and people just pick them up and go. You can put the spoon in. Can you put the spoon in?
I can.
Where are the spoons?
They're in that bullet in front of me at the top, right there. Oh, it smells so good over here.
I think. I'm sure it'll be all of it. Must have.
Yeah.
You guys can do this. Do you feel like you can do this? That really makes my day. That's the whole.
Sugar holidays.
Yes, you can.
I did videos of cattle. So.
I live in the upper area. I was curious, yeah. I thought the door was locked.
These are
Maybe
5
some
ounces, so
people
this is a
saw it.
lot.
I don't know.
I hope nobody saw my reservation.
Sure looked like more than a pound of strength, though.
It probably was. But I'm just saying, you know, it doesn't have to be.
Oh, we got a visit now. Yeah, me.
You can pick those two.
This man's the tray. All right. Y'all have VIP seating. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah, you don't know what you never had.
Oh, it's still to get my legs. He just.
Right. I got it.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Come this way. Oh. That's right.
Okay. So I'll give y'all a few minutes to go to that. Then we're gonna make some crab cakes. These things are out of control.
We have a last
So, because I'm coming over to this side now.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jane.
Oh.
Hey, Jane.
Yeah, hi.
I would like one.
Here you go.
I can't, yes, let me see it up close.
All right.
Oh, it's fantastic. Just fantastic.
Yeah.
Save me one in the freezer.
Oh, yeah. You better come to Georgetown.
usually every special I make, you need to put this on menu. How did, I switch it up. There's a lot of people that come along. So, they want to have something different. Yeah. Yeah, we've done weddings there. Like people actually got married there and everything like that. So it's a lot. I-75 was something that didn't count. That was really, we get a lot of people from Minnesota and Wisconsin. The little snowbirds.
You know, a lot of, I guess it would be advertised. But figures at the hotels, lodges.
Got a little pamphlet and it has a picture of the restaurant. Has a picture of the restaurant on the back and then this nice fillet that I did. Really caught it at the right time.
Yes. Just serve some more water. Another bottle of water. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Not too bad though.
Not too bad, it's delicious, it's amazing.
Well, I try to, everybody has their own mistake, but it's expensive, so a lot of people split it's a 16 ounce bone-in ribeye, but it's beautiful. That's a bigger than what I said. Never. Like more. 4 ounce ribeye, but it's bone-in, so bones. So it's actually about 16 ounce meat. It's bone, so, and it's beautiful. It's like.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you've had that a couple of times. And you can split that. You don't need, I mean, if you want to have have one. You don't have to.
So what would be the top seller?
I want to say the group of ricotta is
Ow.
and then probably next in line would be, yes, probably the shrimp and scallops with reserve, and that's in their cookbook. And one of the chefs is the Woodford Reserve cookbook. They have like 6 chefs that they featured, and was lucky enough to ask me to do it. And, that dish came out of the shrimp and Woodford shrimp and scallops. It came out of a Irish dish that I was doing at the greenhouse on last shrimp James. So when it asked me to do the Jefferson, I think it's a hotel or Jefferson Club in Louisville, and I had to do it my 15 minutes on the rest of the day. They asked me to do it, and whether it was a different restaurant. If you do it, you can get it to them. So I did. I took that same shrimp Jameson, switched the Jameson to Woodford, and then added scallop shrimp and did the same exact sauce. And I couldn't take that off my menu. My menu is so like the lamb, the duck. I can never take off. Yeah, mainly the only thing I'm changing right now. Thank God I get to be special, because as far as I only change this like a chicken dish, and I got this Chinese chicken that's selling on crazy. Like, it's really good. But I said the shrimp and scallops is the best, really neat thing that no one does. The ricotta sauce, which is like lemon butter, little diced shallots, and capers. Lemon juice. It's a clear sauce, kind of buttery and white wine. Those capers, and then I serve it on the side so you can pour it on there. But we all ready for the crab?
You're not gonna say the blue cheese.
They're a big seller though.
No, I think
Okay. Crab cakes. These are on the menu. I have the recipe I use at the restaurant. I use 3 cans of Maryland jumbo love.
where do you buy that at here? Where would we buy it?
I don't think they sell the Maryland blue love.
So where could we get something equivalent?
Maybe at the store, the GFS store in Lexington, right across from the. Yeah. And Myers might have it too. You would just, it doesn't matter about the brand, it's more that it's Maryland Blue Love Crab. And then they have, which is a step up, 1 can of this, which is jumbo lump. And it's got little nuggets.
Upstairs closets. Like they're stacked vertically on the floor, which is the wrong way to do anything. You should go up the wall. Where's the